Right.
Okay.
Well, guys,
Hello.
welcome to Geek Devotions.
Those people we came with.
We are leaving the theater from watching End Game.
Yeah.
And, we're going to do our best to make this a spoiler-free review of End Game. So to start the thing off, we're going to say, wow.
Well done.
Like, I'm walking out, and there's so many fantastic callbacks.
So many comic callbacks.
Yes. But to the previous movie specifically.
Yes.
Like, this picks up where Endgame or where Infinity War ended. And they do a great job of it.
Yeah. I think that, I don't know what you're about to say.
Well,
Don't spoil anything. Thanos appreciates your silence. But yeah, it was well done.
Right. And
I left content.
You know, that's
As bereft as I felt after Infinity War, as much as I was like, I've got to talk about this, I left feeling hopeful
and content. Like this
really good wrapping up.
It is.
Of this phase.
This is a bookend.
Yeah.
A well-placed, well-done bookend.
Yeah.
That I don't think Marvel could have done any better.
Mm-mm.
It was...
Good job, Russos.
I mean, let's talk about the fact that while it is a 3-hour film, it didn't feel like it.
No, it didn't.
Like, the pacing was good enough where you didn't realize how long it was. The story made sense.
Yeah.
It was complete.
Yeah.
It was fun.
There was a few times where I was like, oh, this is kind of cheesy.
Yeah. Some of the humor. But I think that was a merging of all, because this was a merging of all of the forms that Marvel has had.
It's true.
Like with Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy and Iron Man, this really was a combination of the feel of each film. You know what I'm saying?
It's washing me.
It happens. So, but I think that's one of the best things about this is it felt like a wrap up of everything.
You know, and I noticed that, like, because there was a couple points where they played music, and I'm like, oh, this is like a Guardians movie.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily at Guardians points.
Right. But at the same time, it kind of was.
But it kind of was. It worked.
And it's really hard to talk about this without going to spoilers. We just want to say the fact that this was a well done movie.
It is definitely worth seeing in theaters.
It is.
It's worth it.
I think that it's wrapped up at all the major storylines.
Yes. It has hinted at a few new ones.
Possible new ones.
Again, that's my hand. Again, some of that is the comic callbacks. So unless you are someone who knows the comics, you may not realize all of those threads that they have laid.
Right. And that's the thing. But at the same time, it's done well enough where if you're not a comic nut, like we are, you're like, man, this could be something interesting in the future.
Yeah.
And they did. And I will say this. There's a lot resting on the shoulders of the new Spider-Man movie.
Well, we kind of knew that anyway.
We did.
Because it is the next movie.
Right. Well, but this is my point. Like, Captain Marvel was purely a filler film. It was meant to connect us to this film, introduce Carol Danvers into the Marvel Universe,
Danvers,
and then connect her into Endgame, right?
Yeah.
It was purely a bridger film.
It was. You can tell that.
Right.
That it was meant to fill in the gaps.
Right.
Like we said, it made a great in-between movie. It was not a great standalone story, but great in-between movie.
Right. Homecoming, or Far From Home rather.
Far From Home.
It has to, unequivocally, has to establish something new, a new story arc.
New big bad, new
Right.
something.
Something.
Like, we don't know what it's going to be.
The first Iron Man established the concept of, started the whole concept of the whole, hey, there could be a team, and it culminated into the first Avengers film, right?
Yeah.
First Avengers film, but even with those, they hinted at this whole Thanos project. First Avengers film really pushed home the concept of Thanos, Infinity War. Like, we really saw that in the first Avengers film.
And then it was kind of tied in loosely throughout.
Exactly. This finishes
That story.
everything. Like, this is like, if this was a graphic novel, this would have been the closing chapter of the graphic novel. And Far From Home has to start something new. So
That's a lot to put on a Spider-Man movie.
it is, but I think they could do it.
I think they can. I think Tom Holland can pull it off.
Right? I think there's enough cut that came out of the back end of this that they can maybe jump off of, and Holland's movie has to set something else up.
So, that being said, I love Tom Holland. He's so fun.
Right. All right. So, final thoughts, Celeste?
Final thoughts. My final thoughts are thoughts that I cannot say on camera.
Yeah, we'll do a spoiler conversation somewhere, some point.
Probably 2 weeks later.
Yeah, either in our Facebook group, Devoted Geek Life, or on our actual Facebook page, Geek Devotions. But I think that's pretty much all we have for you guys today.
Yeah.
So make sure you check out all of our stuff. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure you look us up. Just look for Geek Devotions, and also visit our website, geekdevotions.com. All right. Well, from those of us here at Geek Devotions,
Stay devoted.
peace and love.